Introducing Tony and Other People, a podcast. Here's your host, Tony Levesque.
How's it going? Dave Crouse hanging out with you, and we're here talking to Mr. Tony Levesque with a fly flying around, and my guts are making noise.
Your guts are making noise.
That's right.
We can just start it from here if you want.
All right.
Dana Crouse.
Tony Levesque, how's it going, buddy?
It has been way too long.
Way too long.
This is the first time you've been on a microphone in probably 2 years.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, around in there. Something like that.
You miss it?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my days in radio, I think, were some of the best, but I've since moved on from radio, and I guess I look back on it fondly, so.
But you love what you're doing now.
Absolutely love it.
And you work for the ARC.
Work for the ARC, yeah. Kind of all started, I guess, when my wife and I were talking, and she says, "Boy, well, what happened was she'd call me in Seville," and she'd say,
Seville.
She'd call me in Seville. Are we gonna say it? Or,
You can say whatever you want.
In Constableville, she would call me in Constableville, and she'd say, "I can't see, a thing," and she'd be driving to. Well, she works in Rome. She works in Syracuse. She's always traveling, and she's always going back and forth. And she would call me and she'd say, "I can't see." And I'd be like, "Oh, honey, and it was always kind of went like that, And I said, "Well, why don't we just, she'd work in Rome. And I'd say, "Why don't we just move?" And she'd be like, "Wow, you sure you want to give up your band, your friends, your radio, your everything?" And I said, "Of course." I said, "For you, I'll give up anything, I love you so much.
First.
Yeah, family first." And I said, "Well, let's do it." And then it just came up where we could move there, and it worked out great. And that's pretty much how it went. We moved to Rome a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm. You gave us a long notice on that with the band.
Yes.
And of course we didn't want to believe it. We didn't want to think that it was going to be getting done, and because we spent how many years together?
Wow, since. Yeah, there's a story behind that. You and I differ on how the band actually got together, but...
you want to get into it?
Not yet. No, not yet. We have to... It's, 9 years? I think we played together, just on and off or whatever, and then with
mostly
Burglars
on.
Mostly on, yeah. Remember that 1 year? Friday and Saturday night?
Oh, my God. Like the second year we were into it.
Wow.
I don't remember exactly the number, but it was insane. We were playing every Friday and Saturday, and sometimes 3.
A lot of
We'd play a
gigs.
benefit on Sunday or something too, and it was just we took the work while we could get it. That's for sure.
That's right. It was exhausting, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Had band will always live in my heart. It was so much fun. Had just doing it and making it the band a success, and having people say, "Hey, we like your band. You guys play good music, and you guys are great." And we all 3 of us tried, as hard as we could, and it was a lot of fun. Looking back,
and not just the playing too. I mean, we hung out a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Even if we didn't practice, it was kind of rare that we did practice.
Or we were on the phone together.
Yeah. And all the times, because you get to a gig an hour early, you set up in a half hour, and then you just screw off for ever,
right?
Go out on breaks and only hang out with each other.
Yeah, pretty much. We were all together for a long time.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I think the band was the hardest thing to give up. The band, the radio, the friends, getting away from everybody, was kind of hard to do, but we did it. And I planned on going back, I guess, staying in radio when I got to Rome. When we moved to Rome there a couple years ago, I thought I'd stay in radio, but then I don't know. A person I guess we both know, and I don't want to break any HIPAA laws here, but his name is Wally. What happened was...
I love Wally.
Yeah.
And he calls me every day.
I bet you he does.
Yeah.
He used to call me at the radio station all the time.
And a lot of times when the phone rings, I'm like, and it's Wally. And I'm like, "Wally, what's up?"
Yes.
It's a nice break for the day, that 2-minute phone call.
That's right.
I love Wally.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he's great. No problem. He called me one time at the radio station, and it was on Halloween. And I said, "Hey, what's going on, bud?" And he says, "Well, guess where I am?" He says, "I have a pneumonia." And I said, really? And I said, wow. And I said, well, where are you? And he said, at Lewis County General. I said, okay. I said, he says, I'm in the hospital, so I can't listen to you and have you play a song for me or whatever. And I said, well, bud, I said, I hope you feel better and I hope you get better soon and the whole thing. Okay, bye. And it was over. Well, then I thought, okay, so I called my wife. I said, you know, hon, I'm going to be late tonight. And she said, oh, what's going on? I said, I'm just going to stop up and see a friend at the hospital. So I went up and I spent Halloween with Wally. And I was up there about, 2 or 3 hours, I think, with him. And we were hanging out. And that was my first step into working with people with disabilities. I didn't realize at the time, or I guess, you just don't think about those things, I guess. But I didn't realize that I had experience there. So... yeah, I spent Halloween. I remember a show that he loved came on, so I had to be quiet during that show.
Yeah.
But and that's where it all started.
Well, I remember even you going into Walmart. Well, for one, working at the Moose and going out on remotes, you see everybody. And whenever anyone with disabilities, they usually come out in groups for events and stuff.
Right.
I remember being there a couple times and just the patience you had with them, because I worked at the Arc for a couple of years too, and I know it takes a hell of a person to do that, and especially on a daily basis.
Oh yeah.
But you could just tell with the interactions that you had with them and the patience and I
appreciate that.
the amount of listening, because that's one thing a lot of people don't do is listen. Especially, some people drone on and on and on and on, and some people, like me, just talk.
Well,
and you are always so patient and just listening. And like in Walmart, you'd run into a group of them or people that and you'd always take the time and stop and listen. So
my stepson Jake, when him and I would go into Walmart, he hated going to the store with me because I would have to stop and talk to somebody, which was just, I genuinely like people. I genuinely like to catch up and that kind of thing, and he would always hate it. I love him dearly, and he's the greatest stepson in the universe. Hey, Jake, and that kind of thing. But yeah, he would hate to go in with me. Yeah. And sometimes we would go to Walmart like 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning. They would, my wife would always say, "Come on, let's go," and that way we can avoid, that. And then we'd run into somebody, and she'd just go the other way. She's the exact opposite of me.
Yeah,
I'm, talk.
Some people
talk.
have it, and some people.
She's a great salesperson. She's
right.
That kind of in the environment where she works for the insurance agency. She's a great salesperson, and she's a sweet gal. I love her, to pieces. But she, she would just go the other way.
I'm the same way too, though. If I go into Walmart, there's sometimes I just want to get what I need and get out of here. I hope I don't run into anyone I know, and just get out of there. Nobody's happy walking into Walmart.
No.
Or walking out.
Right.
After the amount of money they spent.
Right. I just always loved to run into people, and I would end up talking to everybody, So I got to the point where I would go alone always whenever I had to go to Walmart or go out and I guess out in public, I don't want to say it like that, but that I would always end up going alone, so that if I did, which was 9 times out of 10, or 10 times out of 10, I'd run into somebody I know.
Yeah.
And we'd end up talking, great conversation, seeing, people. That's why I loved, I think, about radio remotes, was being able to see everybody, but and actually talk to everybody and
get feedback, because a lot of times you don't. You're sitting in there in a booth all by yourself, talking to 1,000 people that never talk back.
Right.
Until you actually get out in the public, and it amazes me with remotes the amount of people that come up and say, "I listen every day," and I always tell them the same thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too. I'd always tell them the same thing.
You must be bored. Listening to me yammer on every day.
Yeah, because you don't know. Some people would say, "Wow, I was at work. I was listening to you. You got me through my shift." I'm thinking, what with my running my mouth? They listen to me. Some of those things are inspiring, and they keep you going and everything. But like I say, radio, of course. If you don't know, if you're listening right now, I did radio for around 25 years. I don't want to say 25 years because there were a couple years I took off. I ended up working at Enchanted Forest for a few years.
Don't undersell yourself. You're a Lewis County icon.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I miss Lewis County. I miss people, I miss everybody I know up here. And the place is a great place to raise kids. I mean, this is an awesome, awesome area. But moving to Rome, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
Driving in Rome. I mean, I had to get used to driving. Nobody cares. Nobody
There's
uses
traffic.
Nobody uses their blinker. Nobody cares. They will go right in front of you. You have to be on your game every second when you're driving.
And you're a great driver.
Yeah, all right. Here we go. I knew that was going to come out.
I had to throw that in there.
Tony, if you're going to pick on me, I'm just going to leave.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. Oh boy, my driving has improved.
Yeah.
Tremendously.
That's what I've heard.
Since then, I had to improve.
You can only go up from there.
Yes, you can Yes, I'll admit it. I was a terrible driver.
You've never been towed out of any gig.
No, definitely not. I've never gone off the road anywhere.
Never. Mike's gonna love this podcast.
Yes, Mike's gonna.
He knows the story.
He knows all the stories. Yeah, all the gigs. Yeah, it was one night we were coming back from, I think, Crossroads, and I was driving along in my car, and it was 40 below out, and I went to make the turn. I think it was on the Ridge Road.
Yep.
And I went to make the turn.
That sharp turn at the end where the church is.
It's right, and I knew it was coming up, and I just and I went poof right into the snowbank. And Tony and Mohammed, Mo Moran, you were the two that stopped to help me out in 40 below weather.
Well, I had a different perspective because I was driving behind you.
Yes.
Which is the case a lot of the time.
Yes.
From gigs, just to make sure you made it home.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't think Dana's turning up there. And then we just see kind of a powder behind your taillights. And you just went straight.
Straight.
And the funny thing is, I mean, we weren't drinking or anything.
Right.
I think that was back in the day when we were just pounding waters at gigs.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was always your case. But, and I remember you went down over the bank, well, almost over the bank, and we pulled over. And, of course, two police cars show up.
Poof.
And the second you said, "Oh, my name's Dana Crouse," and "Oh, Dana, okay, you got someone coming, you're fine." They didn't even see if you were drinking or anything. They just knew that, "Oh, you're the wonderful Dana Crouse. You're fine."
I guess that's one of the perks. It was
3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday night.
I tried to. Speaking of the whole going into the store and all that kind of stuff, when my wife and I moved to Rome, we went to the movies. We decided to go to the movies. We hadn't gone out on a date in so long together, and we said that that's what we're going to do once we got to Rome. Was we were going to go on dates together and spend more time together. As a married couple, and we got to go out, and we got halfway. We were walking up the steps to get to the seat, and we hear, "Hey, it's Dana Crouse. Hey, what you doing?" I go, "Hi, what's going on?" My wife just rolled her eyes. She goes, "Oh no." Even down here in Rome, I see.
Can't get away from it.
You just can't get away from it, and it happens once in a while. Still,
when somebody hollers out your full name.
Yeah, Dana Crouse, not just Dana. Yeah, it's still, I guess, flattering to have someone remember what I did on the radio. It was kind of neat. That it's kind of kind of nice, but yeah. We've established now that I couldn't drive her. That's a fun Dana fact there.
We could do a whole podcast.
We could do a whole podcast on driving stories. Once I got to Rome, I couldn't believe it because you got Erie Boulevard, you got Utica Boulevard, you got all these other towns all the way around Rome that are just so quaint and nice.
And Rome is. I remember when I lived in Rome, it was so confusing because there are so many 5-way stops.
Yes.
And it's a grid kind of, but it's not really. So it's so confusing because you think, well, if I go down this street and go 4 blocks and take a left, I'll be right. No, that's not how Rome is set up.
That's right.
It's a big U shape.
Right.
And then everything in between is just chaos.
It's just chaos, yes. And you can get places. I've learned all the back roads. I've gotten all these different roads. There's actually a golly road. I remember sending you guys a picture of that for good golly. And yeah, it's definitely a different place than Lewis County. Up here, people will stop, slow down, use their blinkers.
Wave you on.
And
now they wave but only with one finger.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what I get down there. But it definitely made me a better driver. Being in Rome, it will test you to your limits. I never thought I'd ever say it, but I don't know how many. I've never been a road rage type of person. I'm not a rage type of person at all. I'm a road rage type of person. Use your blinker, come on. It's a blinker.
I like how you made that rated G.
Yes, I try to rate everything rated G. I try to keep everything rated G, so that everybody...
Till the mics are off.
Till the mics are off, that's right. I don't know. It's just part of me.
Well, you've been sitting up here at the house for 2 hours now.
At least. We have talked.
We got all the R-rated stuff out of our system before we turn... No.
You got a beeper, an I-rated beeper to, like, when someone says a dirty word, you can just hit it. And
no, I just let it fly.
Just let it fly.
You can swear if you want.
Listening to your other podcasts, I noticed that. Molly.
Yeah.
Molly. Hi, Molly. Thanks for saying all those nice things about me. And I feel the same way about you. This is like CBs. It's great. And same with everybody else. Josh's interview was awesome.
Yeah.
And I pretty much have nothing really to... I was afraid to have you interview me because I have really nothing to talk about as far as far as things. I mean, my life has pretty much calmed down. My wife and I have
domesticated now.
Domesticated now, yes. My wife.
You're not Wild Dana anymore.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna be. I don't even want to say it. I'm gonna be 50 next year. Ooh. Starting to feel it.
Bring on the old jokes now.
Yeah, that's. I knew
we've never told those before.
When Mike Levesque listens to this, he'll be saying, yeah, he'll be laughing every 5 seconds about that.
I used to tell people all the time. We introduced ourselves as a band. Oh, this is my brother Mike, and this is our dad Dana.
And everybody always got a kick out of it and would laugh. And
wait, seriously? I'm not that old.
I'd just throw a drumstick at you, and you'd smile, and that'd be the end of it, and then we'd keep going. But yeah, this is just like the old days, though, talking to you, because you're jumping from, I jump from subject to subject to subject. You can never really stay on one.
We tie it back together, though.
Yes, sir. Always.
Moving to Rome, yeah.
Moving to
See?
Now I'll go.
We did it.
Which subject do you want me to go back to? You're the host.
I'm not the host. This just happens.
You're the accompaniment still? Or?
Yeah. Well, for some people, some of them I just let them talk. I don't really have to do much at all.
I was actually going to try to interview you. I was like, boy, I've never seen a Tony.
Bring it on. What you got for me?
Hey, Tony, how's it going?
Tony Levesque.
Tony Levesque.
So how long have we known each other?
Right?
I started every podcast the same way, pretty much.
People right now are turning off, going, this is
They haven't listened this far.
They haven't listened this far.
Nobody will ever hear this far.
Now I can relax and just talk, so it's great. And I don't have to worry about it anymore. Let me take a deep breath. Ooh, nice. I feel good.
I've said this a few times. A lot of people that come in here are really nervous to get going, and then once they get into it, then you get the real them. So I always tell people, if it sounds like crap to start out with, skip forward about 5 minutes and it'll be just fine.
That's right.
But you and maybe I don't know who else, maybe Josh, there's no nervousness.
No.
At all, right?
Josh was like, bing, 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 bing.
I think maybe he was nervous, but you wouldn't be able to tell.
Not at all. No. It was just like talking with old friends. I mean, I do a lot of traveling down in Rome, all over the place, for my job and my family and stuff. And my mom, hi, Mom. Mm-hmm. She's now at St. Luke's nursing home, which isn't a nursing home. It's like... to anybody out there who's looking for a nursing home, that's the place to go, because it's not a nursing home. It's like a Taj Mahal of nursing homes.
Every picture I see of her online, she's got the biggest smile on her face. I think she's living the life now.
Well, yeah, she's got all her faculty. She's not staying at home anymore. She doesn't have to worry about getting the driveway plowed, that kind of thing. So she's very happy, I think, up there. And I go to see her, as much as I possibly can, which is she's 22 minutes away from me.
Right.
My job is 22 minutes away from where I live. Everything's so sunny. It's like, I had my wife, I said, honey, I have this surprise for you. She loves, giraffes and all that kind of stuff, animals. And I said, I have this surprise for you. And I'd heard about it through friends at work. And it's an animal park down in, I have Chattanooga running through my head, but it's not Chattanooga. But anyway, Chittenango.
Okay.
And it's an animal park down there.
Show hair.
Yeah, let's go show hair. Show hair. Right, that's right. And it's
Nobody's gonna get any of these
No
jokes.
No one's
all
gonna
right.
get any
You
inside
don't
joke.
have to.
I said, honey, I took her on a surprise date. Anyway, I said, and I didn't tell her where we were going. I said, you're gonna love it. She was like, really? Where are we going? You know, I'm driving along and whatever. And oh, it's an animal park. She was so excited. I mean, there's giraffes. There's these 2 giraffes. You get up on this thing and you can rub noses with giraffes. There's alligators there, not alligators, not crocodiles, but alligators and big, lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, and I don't know. Oh my. And where was I going with this?
Took your wife to the
I took my
park.
wife to the animal park. Yeah.
In Chenango.
It's all these places around.
Chenango.
There's all these places around Rome, so close.
Yeah.
You hop on, the thruway there, and you're in Syracuse in 45 minutes. You don't even know. You take a breath, and you're there. The
casino is right there.
The casino is right there. You name it. There's always something to do. It's quite a different environment than Lewis County. Again, Lewis County, in my heart forever. The people, the place, it's great. But once I moved there, I said, do I want to do radio again? I'd done it for so many years, and I just kind of went, I don't know. And in the back of my head, I said, boy, working with people with disabilities, I wonder if I could do it. I wonder if, if. So I had gone through a couple of, I actually had an interview set up, I think, with a casino with a promotional director to be like a promotional type of dude. And I had my suit and tie on and everything. I was ready to go. I talked to the gal. And
Your burglar tie?
A burglar tie. Really, about 2 inches wide, or 1 inch wide. A black burglar tie. And I said,
dirty old white shirt that you wore
dirty
forever.
old white shirts with pit stains and big brown pit stains,
I remember having those in like the duffel bag for band gigs, just pulling out that wrinkled old white
I know
dress shirt.
We'd sweat so much at those gigs. We put so much into a gig. We'd play so hard sometimes.
And throw it in a bag and then bring it out for the next gig.
Yeah, I don't think I could lift the drumstick now. I feel like, because getting back to that type of playing, I remember not comparing myself at all to Neil Peart, because he was great from Rush. He's incredible. He was incredible, but I remember reading in an interview that he would take like 6 months just to get back into playing shape.
Yeah.
Before each and every tour. And I went, huh? Because these guys, they take so much time off. No, I couldn't even, I couldn't keep a beat. Anyway, I could barely, I never thought I was that good of a drummer. I just loved performing, I think. And then when I met you and Mike, I loved it even more, because we all got along. We all had the same type of, where was I? Anyway, see, folks, I
took your wife to the animal park.
Yeah, I took my wife to the animal park. And that's Tony and other people. Ding, 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 the end. They've already shut it off. Anyway, I took her to the animal park, and there's so many places around Rome you can go. I just was floored by the places. Just something as simple as a fish hatchery or a Riscony battlefield or is Fort Stanwix. I mean, I went there and there was a guy all dressed up and he looked like he lived there. And he was like, "How you doing?" And he was talking to me, and I'm like, "Whoa!" I go, "You live here?"
Did you get that shirt out of my burglar bag?
Yes, exactly. I thought he was gonna keep me there. I didn't know what he was up to, but
there's a theater in Rome too. I'm trying to think of the street that it's on. It's on the same street that used to have Herb Phillipson's. There's an old theater there, and they show old movies.
Was it Utica Boulevard? It's right off Utica Boulevard, I think.
It's right near Fort Stanwix, between Fort Stanwix.
Oh, okay. It might not be there anymore.
No, I think it still is. Right across from Pete's Music.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
And I remember one time they were showing the Beatles' Hard Day's Night down there. I thought that was amazing. First of all, it doesn't get shown in any theater, even in England, you know. But they always had some neat things going on down there.
It just seemed like we went to Utica College to see these lunchtime concert series with this. I recently...
Munson Williams?
Munson Williams is over in Utica. I do a lot of traveling through Utica. We went to, there's a lunch hour series over there where I just recently watched a 13-year-old boy who was playing Chopin and these incredible compositions, these incredible piano compositions with a violin player, and it's just amazing. There was a whole gospel outfit playing this music that was just, it was uplifting. It was really, really spectacular. And you can, and they're free right there, at Utica College, right across from my mom's, right across from where my mom is at St. Luke's nursing home. So yeah, that was the thing. My mom, she got sick. Now that's the 10th subject we'll touch on. She got sick right after 2 weeks after we moved to Rome, her kidneys. So she ended up on dialysis. It was kind of scary that first day.
Well, she was still living in Glenfield, and
yes.
I remember you were running back and forth. And
yeah, scary stuff. Anybody who's been through that knows, what we're talking about and stuff. And that was scary. But they brought her to St. Luke's, and she stayed there, which was 22 minutes away from our house, our place. We lived there in Rome, in Floyd, and it was so it worked out perfectly. So everything just seemed to fall into place after we moved there. We just loved where we lived, and I had no idea where to go. I had no idea about streets or where to go or anything.
Well, I know you were probably nervous too. I mean, you're leaving your whole life here behind. Not like you're moving the other side of the country or anything, and you still kept in touch with everybody. I still get goofy messages from you all the time.
Yeah.
But I think you were a little scared to just kind of drop everything that you knew to go to something brand new.
Right.
So to find things to do and that, it's not so bad down here. It's actually pretty great. That must have been a really nice thing to realize.
All those Facebook memes are real. Try something, you can succeed, that kind of stuff, where they're, all those positive Facebook memes. They, not to be corny, but yeah, they're real. If
you're not going to be corny?
I'm going to try not to. I'm going to try to do this serious, Tony.
This is a very serious podcast.
This is going to be a serious podcast. Mr. Levesque, thank you.
That's Crouse.
That was always my radio voice right there. Just kind of, was it Mohammed Moran?
Got to get the finger going.
You got to get the finger going, yes. We tried it one time. We put it on a cell phone, my voice and Mo's voice, and we played it together, and they sounded exactly the same. I mean, exactly. It was like, hey, I'm Mohammed Moran, and this is Dana Crouse. Hey, Mohammed, how are you? It was the same exact voice. We laughed so hard. But, yeah.
You're going to be the voice in another 10 years. How people imitate Kenny Young's all the time. People go, hey, I'm Dana Crouse.
Yeah, that's right. I actually did one day. We were at a gig one time, and you and I were playing in Boonville with Mike, and I believe, and these two dudes come up to me and they go, hey, it's Dana Crouse hanging out with you. And I was so surprised. I was so like, wow, they're actually, because I never thought, like Kenny to me was a god when I started, especially.
Still, same with George.
And George Capron, yes. Both great, they were, Kenny, rest in peace, and George, incredible. They just
54 years this year he's been.
Wow, can't believe it. Can't believe it.
It's crazy.
I used to listen to him as a kid, thinking,
me too.
Maybe I'll someday get to meet these guys. And I walked in, I was 17, 18 years old, and I come in, there's Kenny sitting there, and I go, I'm terrified. We go on the radio, and Kenny says, I said, boy, Kenny, I'm real scared, and I don't, I'm really going to try to do my best, and I always listen to you. And he went, well, Dana.
I was hoping you were going to do the voice.
Well, Dana, I'll tell you. He says, you just talk to them like they're your neighbor, okay? Okay. And that was the end of it. And I went, okay. And that's where it started. He was so nice. And George Capron, one day, this is another radio station story. I was working in Boonville. And it was kind of hot in the station, it was right in July, and whatever. And I don't know who I was filling in. It's been so long. I don't know who I was filling in for or what I was doing there. But I remember I was there for the afternoon. Maybe I was filling in for Kenny. I can't remember. And it's, the Boonville station is like in the middle of a field, and whatever. And well, it was so hot in there. I put the windows down and I opened up the door because it was so hot, and a breeze came in. I said, oh, great. This is great. And I closed it up and I locked it up and I left. And the next day I got a call from George Capron. He says, my Dana, he says, there's flies everywhere in this room. It's packed right full. Did you have the door open? And I said, I sure did, George. I said, I apologize. And oh, well, I've been hitting them all morning here with the fly swatter. So, and he was just going on and on about it. And to be honest, he was sweet about it. But it was just he was so nice about it. But I just felt terrible. I'm like, oh no, I'm so sorry, George. But yeah, he was really cool about it, and I actually got to fill in for George, which I was terrible at. in the morning doing the news.
Yeah, I remember that.
And doing the whole thing. I always felt like I was terrible at that. Nobody can be George Capron.
No.
Nobody. And
George isn't as structured as he is with everything that he does. He works so well on the fly.
Yes.
Like he can turn anything. You know, even when he screws up, he'll make it sound like he did it on purpose.
If I drove my Jeep Cherokee through the announcing booth at the thing down there while he was on the air, he'd go, "Well, it looks like Dana's just showed up. Kind of a noisy thing is we have no wall left, but oh well, how's it going?" And I'd be like, "George, I'm sorry, I lost my brakes. I just coasted in, smashed in." He wouldn't care.
Yeah,
he would just keep going. Bang, bang, bang. He always had that ability to keep going no matter what. I always loved that. Blew my mind. He was one of my first guys that I would listen to and just try to emulate a little bit, or at least get some tips from. And same with Kenny, because he was one of those people that taught me to treat everybody like you would the janitor. Treat the CEO like you would the janitor. Right. Treat everybody on the same level, that kind of thing. And that kind of worked, with my current job. Back to that subject. I went down there.
Right around.
I was going to work at Turning Stone. First it was radio. Then I said, I don't know. And
that had to be different too, because the Moose is kind of unique in that it's very small town, big geographically.
Yes.
It covers a large area with very few people in it.
Right.
So it's a down home feel, but when you're in the city,
yes,
on radio, it's a whole different thing.
Right. And when you get in there, you can be, it's just not the same. You're some big fish.
You almost have to be cool.
Yes. You're a small fish in a big pond there. And it's different. You kind of go, okay, but you try to do your best or whatever. But it didn't really, to me, it wasn't appealing. I don't know why. Maybe I don't know what happened. I really don't. My mind just shifted and something went different. And I said, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to go for something else. I mean, my boss, Bill Flack, at the time, he had recommended me. Tom Starr down at the Drive, he had let me, when you sign, what is it when you go get a job, your references and that kind of thing. You let me use him as a reference, the whole thing. It was cool, but I just said, well, I don't know. So I tried. And the lady from the ARC called me, and she said, "Hello, Dana, how are you? I'm so sorry I didn't get back to you." And something had happened. Well, I didn't call them back either because I was too busy. I had so many interviews and things going on, and so many. I guess it was like, well, it's open now. I could do what I want. I could try out something different. I could go into radio. I could see what happens. And she called, and I thought, wow, this is my chance to try, to work with people with disabilities, see if I could do it. I was scared to death, terrified, because you're working with people with disabilities,
right?
And then you realize they're just people.
Yeah.
Bang. So I got there and I went, oh, wow. And I started making friends right away. Started getting along with staff. I started getting kind of ingrained into the place. And bang, you start out as, well, I guess your title is direct support specialist, one. And you just kind of help out and you just kind of learn. And you meet people and you start doing different things and whatever. And some people work at the houses. I work at the day hab up there. They call it a day hab. I guess that's the word for it. Facility up there on Gore Road.
Right. Where they go every day to do activities and learn some stuff.
Yes. And I
get out of the house.
Right. And get out of the house. And I said, well, this is my place. I like this. This is cool. So I started learning things and And then it came where I could advance a bit. I started doing extra things, and you do a lot of driving with this job. So you learn how to drive real quick in Rome. When you're beeped at and you're, that kind of thing, you learn to stay, you learn a lot of things about driving. So I learned a lot.
And with the people in the van, and you can't use your other words. Exactly.
And you can't drive off the road.
Can't be flipping people off.
Right, because your first concern is them.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, I guess, So, I went and ended up being a direct support specialist too. I got to that point, and then I ended up with my job now. I take 3 individuals 3 people we support with, they're independent. They can all do their own thing. Everything's cool, and they stay with us. We're kind of, I guess our title, I don't know, our thing is kind of representative of the ARC, I guess. We've gone to job fairs here in Lewis County, in Lowellville. We've gone down there. We're always going places and doing our thing. We go to Genesee Street in Utica, and we're just all over the place. We get to, so I get to I don't know. And it worked out. I realized I was nervous for nothing, because I made so many lifetime friends that it's amazing. You get to meet people and I love it. Can't beat it.
Well, any sort of change is always, you're going to be nervous about it. Plus, you just made some huge changes in your life. Everything was changing.
Yeah.
And that's probably why the disinterest in radio. You're like, well, I made this change. It worked out. I made this change and my life is good.
Right.
So why not try something else?
Right. That's always my platform, if I'm going to run for office or whatever.
Yeah.
Your platform is live and let live, if someone else succeeds, hey, that's great. I like seeing people succeed. I'm a positive person. I'm always full of positivity. I try and not a fake type of, that, what I'm trying to say? I just try to, I don't know. I want to elevate the person next to me and make them say, wow, Dana's a pretty cool guy. And I could say the same about them. We keep going, and I don't know.
Well, you have a general interest in people, and that's what makes you a good conversationalist too, is you listen and you have genuine interest.
It's a genuine interest.
You're not just listening to hear what you're going to say next. You're listening because you
and when you get paid to talk,
sure,
you think of yourself. You go through all these different things, and now the confidence level is right through the roof. Everybody, you build confidence as you go, and you had confidence in radio. You could talk to anybody. I remember talking to different people. I remember doing, and this is a known secret here, a little known secret. Nobody knows about this, but one night I had to do a remote broadcast on the Moose. Well, it was raining. I mean, just pouring, cats and dogs. And I had some kid, some guy back at the studio running all the equipment, and I was in the, I was in the vehicle. Mm-hmm. Well, I did the old Moose van. The old Moose van. I don't know if
I've only
might have been
pictures.
Before that. I can't remember. It might have been even before that, but I can't remember. But I sat in the vehicle the whole time and did the whole remote from there. And the kid goes, "Wow, you sound like you're at the Carrier Dome." He says, "And there's all this stuff going on." And I said, "Well, yeah, because you kind of want to go out and talk to people, but it was just cats and dogs.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even get out of the vehicle, let alone my equipment getting fried or whatever. I didn't know what to do because we didn't have cell phones back then. Mm-hmm. So, I did the whole thing from there. And he says, "I just can't believe it." He says, "It sounds like you're doing this big thing from the Carrier Dome, and you got the Rolling Stones there." And I said, "Well, thanks." I said, that was what I was hoping for. But yeah, I get, I don't know, just try to stay positive and do my thing. Love my wife. My wife loves me, I hope. How you doing, honey? I keep saying hi to everybody. I want to make sure they all know I'm here.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Right? She's my inspiration. My mom, my wife, my stepson, Jacob, my sisters, everybody's my inspiration. You run into so many people and they inspire you to do things different, or better, or there's so many ways to do things. There's so many ways to, diffuse a fight, for example. If you walk up and say, "Hey, you shouldn't be fighting," they're going to punch you in the nose.
Yeah.
But if you walk up and say, "Excuse me, how you doing? What's going on?" Try to understand what they're upset about, first off. And what they're, then you can diffuse a situation. There's so many ways to do things. And I like to explore all those type of things. And in my job, I get to do that. In my job, I get to meet people. I get to do everything I did in radio, but more.
Right.
So much more.
More one-on-one, more contact.
More one-on-one, more.
Not over a microphone.
And not over a microphone, right? Face-to-face. Mm-hmm. And, you're their hero. Mm-hmm. They emulate you. They look at you as a person they want to be, or that they respect, or whatever. So you try to be the best person you can, especially for them.
Yeah.
You want to be the best person you can for anybody. But you know what I'm trying to say? It's like having a kid with Penelope. You want to be a good person. You want to see in this
Don't
guy.
Want her to see the bad things.
Hanging out with Dana Crouse, this rotten guy. You want to, it's
hanging
just,
out, you said.
Hanging out? Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm not allowed to say that.
Somebody yelled out. I was walking. What did I have to do? I was on Utica Boulevard in Rome, and I was walking along, and I heard Dana Crouse hanging out with you from this passing vehicle. And I laughed so hard. I couldn't believe, I was like shocked. This was after I'd, been there a year. I'd been in Rome a year, and I go, I don't know, I dropped my car off to get the brakes fixed or something. I was just walking down to a store or a coffee shop or something. And I heard that, and I go, whoa. I look, and I still to this day, so if that was you, thank you. He made my day. I did.
It was my brother.
It was nice. It was your brother. It was nice to be remembered, But so how do you like the radio?
I love it.
You've been doing it for a long time now. What, 2.5?
2.5 years. Yeah. Well, I was inspired. I had a role model there.
I just thought you working with you with a band, you always had this fire. You always had this, not to sound corny, but you were always a positive person to me. You always good friend, but yeah, when we got on stage, there were times when your car was broke down. There were times when Mike's truck was broke down. I remember one night he came in, his truck was broke down. He was having a hard time in life at that point. He was having a hard time with a few things and whatever. But once we got on stage, or once we started performing, you guys were like a team. Bang. It was like, that was over. We talk about it afterward. We talk about it before. We'd want to kill each other or something. We'd be like, no, Tony.
I hate this guy, but man.
I hate this guy.
You're singing the song so well today.
I'm going to wrap that bass around that guy's head. Oh, we're on stage. Ooh. Hey, Tony, how are you?
That was a good solo. I hate you, but man, that was good.
Yeah. I want to shove that stick down Dana's throat. Oh, we're on stage. And then we'd all come together. We'd band together. And I just knew you could bring that to radio, that kind of energy that you did. Because you were always, I remember when we first started with a band, how many years ago when we did it?
2009.
And was it?
Wow. Yeah, we started in 2009. Huh. We got to tell that story too, because
yes,
it's been so many years, and I know the story has evolved, and I think I tell it differently than you do, and every time I do tell it, I forget.
All right,
how did this go?
Tell a condensed version of your story, first, and then I'll tell mine.
See, what I usually tell people is what you told me, your point of view of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm 9 years older than my brother, and I'd played music here and there, but I was into drinking a lot and never anything too awful serious. Right. And I was in a band with a couple guys, and it was that kind of thing. But my brother was, I don't know, maybe 15 or 16 at the time.
Yeah, kid.
And very talented. I mean, everything Mike touches is gold.
Incredibly talented.
Yeah, he's super smart, and he was playing keyboards, I believe, at the time. Did a great job, and we ended up going through a couple different bands, very short-lived, and we realized that the two of us worked really well together, and we did one gig where Turin Inn. Which I don't think has been open in years.
Yeah.
But this guy convinced us to play Turin Inn. I think we just played for tips or something. We learned a bunch of songs. We were going to be a Johnny Cash cover band. We decided that we learned a bunch of Johnny Cash songs and other ones as well, And he's like, oh, Tuesday night's up here. You got to come up Tuesday night, play on a Tuesday night. So, of course, we did. And played to my mom and dad. Who, by the way, I need to stop and say, have been so supportive.
So supportive.
I think the first 4 years of the band, I don't think they missed a single gig.
No.
I mean, every awkward,
your mom and dad are the sweetest people in the world.
Yes. I love my mom and dad.
I love them too.
So we played this show.
Hi, Bernadette. Hey, Ray.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. We played this show, and I was really proud of how well we played. And, this was our first time really in front of, there's just a couple people there, but it caught fire with my brother. Like, he wanted to do this.
Yeah.
And so we said, we need to get a drummer. We need to make a band. This has got to be a band. Maybe we can find another guitarist, something else, And I think I was still playing acoustic at the time, possibly.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't remember. You see, it's all fading now. And you jumped in with us.
Who are you, by the way?
I don't remember.
Where am I?
Oh.
Get these mics out of my face right now.
Oh, God.
Gonna have to edit that out. Or...
No. Now I'm screwing up the story. I don't even remember. We played in a band, and I've mentioned his name before, so I'll mention it again, with Ed Russell, who was phenomenally talented.
Yes, super talented. Dude.
He asked us to play his daughter's graduation party, I believe it was. It was just some party.
I remember that.
I remember asking if there was going to be free beer there. And, oh, yeah, of course. The only reason I played back then.
Why not?
And he's like, but we're going to get my drummer friend, Dana, to play. I'm like, oh, from the radio? Dana Crouse? yeah, okay. And was that the first time?
I think that might have been the first time I'd met you, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And you were scared of me.
I was terrified of you. I said, oh, my gosh, he looks just like Charles Manson. And you had this look in your eyes, too, and I'm like, ooh.
So we played this party in some garage, and I think it went well. I really don't remember much of it, but I remember how well it sounded with you, because you sang, too, I believe, at the time. And because there was a couple songs that we didn't know, but we played them because you knew how to sing them.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those party gigs where you just wing it and nobody cares anyway.
And we had fun, back in the day.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
So things didn't work out with Ed, and I don't know if I called you or something to come over and play in my parents' garage. And you come over, and I thought it was awesome. It was the few songs that we knew together was great. And we sat there and talked about it, and I think we had, by the end of practice, decided we were going to be a retro band. We were going to play nothing but like 50s rock.
Yeah, oldies.
Yeah, and that's, and then I think we soon realized that you got to play more than that, because 4 hours of music is a lot of music.
Yeah. Well, we wanted to be something.
Right, we wanted to do something different, and we'd all been around the bands locally and said, what is missing from the area? And we thought it was
tried to fill it,
right.
Yeah,
I think we talked about being a CCR cover band for a while too, which would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were full of ideas and ambition, and I think you kind of offended my brother right off the bat because you said, "Well, maybe we should get another guitarist," which, in your defense, he was very green. Right. I don't even think he was 18 yet.
Yeah,
and he definitely isn't the powerhouse on guitar that he is now.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't then,
Right.
He could do solos, but very limited.
Yeah.
And it was a nice sound, being so limited. But you had been working with bands with 4 and 5 and 6 members. Yeah. So, and big into 80s rock, where they're big sound. And it was very thin.
Yeah.
And I think I kept trying to convince you this will work. We'll fill it out. It'll sound good. And so we did bring in a couple guitarists, actually Mike Shaw, who I still work with to this day.
Great dude.
Who, and this is another, he tells a different story of it too. I don't think he ever called back.
No,
he just didn't.
I don't think so.
Seem interested. But if you know Mike at all, that's kind of his demeanor.
And I think I brought him up.
Yeah.
To kind of,
Right, because I didn't know him.
Right.
But he just, his demeanor is that he's not interested.
We'd have Mike Levesque, your brother, selling programs in the front, because I didn't think he had the enthusiasm that you and I connected, bang, just like that.
Right.
And I said, good, I found my musical soulmate because we had connected. You on just all your music, because you same with Ed Russell. He could play so many different instruments,
right?
And sing as well, and he could, do all that stuff. And then I met you, and you could do all this different stuff. You're playing bass, and you're playing guitar. You could sing. You could do all this stuff. And I'm going, and you even knew some stuff on keyboard. I'm going, come on, and this kid, basically a kid, was with you. And I think you said that you weren't going to do a band without him. You said, I'm going to stick with my brother because, I love my brother. He's kind of my, and I've decided that I'm not going to do a band without him. I said, oh no, this great talented dude, Tony, but he's not going to leave his little brother at home. And I'm thinking, oh, come on. And then, well, now I'm telling my side of the story. And then he played and I went, huh, well, that's different. That's something else. And I'd never really, but then when he played with us live the first time in front of people, he blew me away.
Yeah.
Blew me away. I mean, I had reservations up to that. I mean, not really, but we had a lot of fun playing together. But when we played in front of people, he just commanded it.
Yeah, and
I said,
you could see the energy in his face. You could just see
the joy that he had playing. I couldn't believe it. I'm just like, okay, I was wrong.
Yeah. And this is where I always tell the story that you told.
Yes.
Was that you were at the best of Boonville.
Wait, I got to tell this one,
here we
because
go.
I always tell you, I was at the best of Boonville. I'd gotten together with this band.
All right, Mo Moran.
Well, a little George Capon in there as well. And it's 65 degrees in Boonville. And yes, I was going to
Oh boy.
I was going to Boonville.
Get 'em all in there.
To play this to play this gig with this band. Well, we'd never practiced together. They'd call me and say, "Can you please play drums for us? We're doing the best of Boonville." I thought, okay, we're doing when is that? Oh, Saturday. And I think it was Tuesday. I went, what? You don't have what happened? Did your drummer, get hit by a truck or something? They said, no. I said, okay, well, sure. I mean, what's in it? Whatever. And I can't remember what day it was. $20 maybe or something. And I thought, well, get me out. I can go out and play, do something to get out of the house a little bit. And I said, okay, sure. I said, I'll show up. And they said, okay. And I said, well, you guys want to practice at all? And they said, yeah, sure. And I think we were going to get together, or we did get together, and it was a train wreck. It was terrible. And I didn't, not that I'm anything special. It was, they didn't, no structure, no nothing. I was like, whew. But I'd made a commitment. So I said, well, I'm going to go. So maybe you were right. You were right, and I was right. Maybe I talked to you on the phone before that, and we talked, which I always, emit from the story, get rid of it. But I went to this Best of Boonville. It was a train wreck.
You know who we should ask is my brother, because he's younger and still has more of his brain cells left.
That's right.
He probably has the picture perfect of what exactly happened.
He would remember. He would remember the whole story.
Yeah.
So
he knows his story.
He knows, because I've told it to him 1,000 times. I can't shut up most of the time. And I get to Boonville, this Best of Boonville. There's all these people. It's a pack, because that's quite an event down there.
Yeah.
So I'm in the middle of setting up my drum set. I just brought a minimal little kit, figuring I'll just help them out as best I can. And it was a train wreck. Drinking beers and everything right in the middle of. And I'm a family person. I like to.
We've never been into drinking beers at the gig. We've had you have a couple.
I have a couple
a few shows, but yeah.
Oh yeah, with the drinking and driving these days. I mean, with everything,
it's impossible.
There's another story I can tell on the next podcast that I do in 10 years. But anyway, I was disgusted, but I didn't care. I said, okay, and in the back of my mind, I've always been thinking, I'd love to get together with some like-minded musicians and put on, because I'm half entertainment, half, play your instrument or whatever. I figure that, you got to have enthusiasm. You got to have, I've always been a showman. A lot of people, one person, who was it, Laura? It was, used to call me David Lee Roth. Yeah, you're a kicker, and you're a showman, and you're this and you're that. And like, a lot of people don't like David Lee Roth because he was such a showman and wanted to be the center of attention.
Right.
And I wasn't really like that as much as I wanted to entertain people and be the center of attention pretty much. Yeah. And and I said, okay, I think I told Mike Clark that once. I said, I said, I do it for the money and to be the center of attention. I said, and he said, well, at least you're honest.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I try.
Yeah.
And hi, Mike. And he's another one that I
yep.
love Mike Clark. He's cool. Well, anyway, I said, well, okay. So I was disgusted. I'm driving back from Boonville. And do we both agree this happened?
I feel like there should be some piano music going right here.
And I was driving back from Boonville, alone in my car. Had my left hand on the wheel as I was trying to steady the vehicle as I was motoring along, looking at the birds as they flew. And
is that why you were such a crappy driver?
Yes, it was right. It was watching the birds. As I'm driving along, I look and I see this turn here to your mom and dad's house. And I go, boy, I said, I'm wondering. In the back of my mind, I'm going, I wonder if that Tony's still there. I wonder if he's really going to be there, or if he's going to be. And everything's going through my mind in that few seconds it took, to slam on my brakes or whatever. So I'm driving along, and I said, you know what? I'm going to turn. I'm just going to do it. Something told me to do it. And they always tell those stories. Something told me to do it. So I turn, I pull up, and I swear you were sitting in the middle of your dad's driveway on a wooden stool or something, and you're drinking a beer in the middle of a Saturday. And I went, okay, he's right there. What's he doing in the middle of the driveway on a stool drinking a beer? And I went, so I got out, and I said, hey. And you said, hey. And you said, I've been waiting for you. And I said, yep. And that was the end of it. Yeah. Now, how does that differ from your perspective?
See, I've told that story so many times that must be what happened. I can't imagine you're just sitting in the middle of the driveway on a stool, drinking a beer. Well,
you're just saying that to be nice to the elderly. That's what it is.
It does sound like me, actually.
You're just trying to be nice to me because I'm old.
I think it might have been a lawn chair.
It might have been.
That makes it sound so much better.
Might have been an easy chair. I'm not sure. Could have been a orthopedic. You might have been wearing orthopedic shoes, but I'm not sure. I don't remember all the details except for the birds. I do remember them.
I remember you coming up and saying, "Let's do this. Let's. I'm invested. Let's go."
And you know why? Because I was so disgusted with that day that I'd had. Mm-hmm. They handed me $20, I think, or I think it was something different. I don't think we got paid all that. And I went, I just walked away going, oh my God, why did I? Well, I was proud of myself for going through with it. When you say you're going to do something, you do it. You try to go through with it and whatever. But I was just totally disgusted by that point. Mm-hmm. So when I talked to you, I said, hey, what's up? So yeah, and then as they say, the rest is history. I couldn't believe it. I got to know you and Mike. I didn't quite have all the invested into Mike. I didn't know he was going to do this. I didn't know he was going to jump. I mean, even Mike's former boss, over where he works, where he just left, the job he just left, said, I remember talking to him one time, and he said, he says he transforms. It's like he becomes Incredible Hulk. He's David Banner most of the time. He's Mike. Hey, it's me, Mike. Hi, how you doing? Hey, Dana, good to see you. Hey, yeah, he's Mike. But then, bang, he gets on that stage, and he's a different person. Like, he totally transforms into somebody else. Is like, Tina Turner. You see her, and then all of a sudden, she's, and you're like, whoa.
I'm going to start it out nice and slow.
I compared Mike to Tina Turner. So, and that's...
I'm not going to make it rough.
I'm going to make it rough. That's right. That's a class. So yeah, that was the end of that, and then we ended up playing 9 years together.
Yeah,
through the thick and the thin, we made it. It was fun. Oh, so much fun.
Yeah,
those talks.
We had our times where it was very stressful.
Oh, sure.
Mike left the band at one point. Came back, and we had Gabe in there, which was just
phenomenal guitar player, phenomenal person.
Yeah,
super cool dude. You've been hanging out with Gabe lately.
I love Gabe.
I hate to see all this stuff on Facebook, especially what Mike's videos with his band. I see those, and I'm just like, I just want to go up there and jam with those guys, and I want to be back into it. But then I'm like, I wouldn't make it through 2 songs, and I'd be exhausted.
And then you think about all the work. You're like, then I got to load all the stuff in the car. Got to get there an hour and a half early. If I don't get there too early, Tony's going to be pissed.
if I show up 20 minutes before that, then Tony's going to be pissed because I showed up early, and he's going to say, all right, shut up, Dana. I'm trying to.
I was such a control freak with everything.
I think we all were. It was
looking
crazy.
back on it now, we can see all of our own flaws, and how. But it was a magic time. It was
magic. We had.
There
was
some
fun.
gigs that we were really hopping in Lewis County for a while.
Yep.
We had our period of, wow, this is freaking great, where every place that we played would be packed.
Yeah. So much
fun. But then you get those gigs where, you're playing a VFW somewhere and people are telling you to turn it down. There's 10 people there.
Or something like that. Yeah. It's not glamorous.
There were a lot of those too, but
it didn't go to our head. We didn't think we were these giant musicians like the Rolling Stones, when you were
we had no
14,
desire
to
great. Make it big or anything like that.
We just wanted to play. Yeah.
But if you can be a hero in Lewis County, why not?
Why not? We just wanted to play and have some fun and do what we did, what we thought we could do to enjoy ourselves. I mean, I enjoyed myself. It was so much fun. You guys, you and Mike are just the best friends. We all had a good time. We didn't hang out a lot outside the band, really, because I think we'd hung out so much. You got to remember, folks.
I think that was our only time that we had free, all of us, to hang out because we were working so much with it. It was either I was at work or playing in the band.
Right. When you saw us playing out, those countless hours that we put into practice, whether we were a good band or a bad band, whether you liked us or you didn't, we tried hard and we had so much fun and we really loved what we were doing. And I think it showed a lot of the times we played. We just had so much fun. It was spectacular.
We made up for our lack of skill with
enthusiasm,
energy, and just we were cheesy, and we did not cheesy. Care. All our dance moves.
Yeah, I know. So much fun.
And every song had its own inside joke with it, and the people that really followed us around all knew it. And you're get down.
Yeah.
Still, whenever Mike Shaw and I play Some Kind of Wonderful, he always hollers over, get down. And we bust up laughing every time. There's not a time I've ever played that song and I don't think of
how many songs we messed around and we ended up playing songs together. We'd hook up the weirdest songs.
We did that a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes 2, 3, 4 songs together.
And throw in these little things, because I remember there was a lull between songs. Like some bands you go out to see and they'll stand there for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Farting around. Then they'll play one song, then they'll stand there for 5 minutes. Well, you lose your crowd that way.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to lose our crowd. So we'd all talk about it. Well, let's see if we can get some of these songs to play together. We'd work so hard to put them together, and we'd be like, and things like get down. You'd see the crowd start to dance. Well, you want to keep them.
Yeah.
So
They're thinking, trying to figure out what song are they playing.
Exactly.
Oh, there it is.
It was so much fun. I had a blast.
We had so many little things that made our show so good. Things that we did. I mean, from dressing up in the shirt and tie to remember we did the black shirts, white tie.
Black shirts, white tie for a while. We all had our own ideas. We'd all fight to get our ideas in, and we'd try so hard.
I think I wore a top hat for a while.
A top hat. I remember that. That was cool.
We were the burglars for Halloween one year at Jeb's.
The burglars.
Remember we had the white shirt, the white striped shirts, white and black straight shirts.
It was it was crazy. It was now what about the reunion tour? We're gonna have to do a reunion gig eventually someday. I'd love to play again. I just don't know if I could make it through.
I was thinking about that the other day. I'm thinking about all the old songs we used to know. I don't think I remember how to play any of them.
I know. I would
have to relearn it for us to put on one show of probably an hour's worth of music.
Right.
It would take 3-4 practices and time at home by myself to learn.
I have this dream where this band says, well, we can't make it to this venue, this place or whatever, this bar in Lewis County that we could play. And they call us up and say, come on. And then we all have the day off. So we all get together and play. And it all comes right back together again, like riding a bike. I have those little those things go through my head. If would that be the way it would work, or would we be total flops?
We'd have to get your headset mic back.
The old headset mic. Oh, Tony, I can't hear anything. Could you please turn up my monitor? Oh, yes, Dane, I'll turn up your monitor for you.
Britney Spears mic.
And Britney Spears mic, man.
And then all the contraptions we made to put the mic over your head. My dad rigged up that thing to go on the back of your chair, or the back of your throne, to go up and over top of your head.
And it would wobble around and clock. One time it clocked me right in the tooth. I thought I totally dislocated, or not dislocated, but knocked a tooth out. Or chip the tooth or something.
Or how many times did Mike knock over your stand into your face? Or
I know. We could tell band stories. I can't remember any of them anymore because it just all jumbles into one good feeling.
Well, you got to promise me the next time you come up to do this, that we get Mike in here and Gabe.
Yes, and have a band off.
Yeah.
Or what do you want to call
do
it?
2 separate ones, do one with us with Mike and one with us with Gabe.
Yes,
because
definitely.
there are so many stories, and they're so much younger, that they would remember them a lot better than we.
No. So now you know what it feels like to be an old fart like me.
I do.
If you want to call it old fart.
I have to ask Heather every day, what do you work today? It's on the schedule, on the wall. Oh, I forgot.
Well, I can remember the lyrics to, any given 80s song or whatever, but I can't remember to get milk on the way home. It's just one of those things, unless I have my little reminder on my phone that pops up and I check it before I leave.
Oh, yeah.
But,
we're getting old, especially you.
How much time do we have left?
We're over an hour now.
Get down, get down, get down, get down. Tony, it's been fun.
It has.
Has been a blast.
I've been waiting to do this since I started. You were one of the first people in mind And I knew it would be rough to get you up here, and especially because we haven't really hung out in the last couple of years, other than online. Mm-hmm. This has been a dream of mine.
Well, it's been a dream of mine to be on the Tony and Other People show. Maybe sometime I can, I know Jay does your opening for this and your closing and all that. Maybe one time I can do that. Tony and Other People, a podcast.
Questions, comments, concerned over Tony's well-being?
Yeah, a podcast. Hey. What's his saying? Quagmire saying?
Oh, I don't even know.
I can't remember.
I don't think I've watched that show since the
Family
band.
Guy. Yeah. A Quagmire. What's your saying?
Giggity giggity.
Giggity.
That's right.
Yeah. But thanks. I appreciate you having me on the show. It's a landmark show with the Dana Crouse.
I guarantee this one's going to have more listens than any other combined. This has been the one people have been waiting for.
I'm just glad that you
I
asked me.
can end the show now. Yeah. I can not do any more episodes.
You have to do a lot of editing and to keep it under an hour. I mean,
it doesn't have to be under an hour.
Oh, does it? We can talk for another hour.
There are no rules, Dana. No rules. You can even swear if you want.
I don't know if anybody's going to make it through the first 10 minutes, but I have I guess a suggestion for your listeners that do listen to the podcast. I do it while I'm driving because I have these long drives. When I'm alone, I have to drive different places. I pop it on while I'm driving because you can pop it on with your, the cars nowadays have, now I'm something old. The cars, you just do it through your cell phone and whatever and listen to it. So that's what I do. I do a lot of long drives, so I get to listen to the, like when I was listening, I remember listening to the Molly one, like I said in the beginning, and the Josh one, and everybody talking, and it's just like being in the same room. It was really sweet. It's really cool.
A lot of people say I don't have an hour to listen. I listen to podcasts all the time.
Sure, yeah.
And I'll even on my 5-minute drive to work, I'll put one on, and then when I get ready to go home, it's the same one. I just pick up where I left off. You don't have to listen to
You don't have to listen to the whole thing, right?
Right.
Yeah, because I did.
Sometimes it take me a week to hear one podcast.
Right, like I said, 22 minutes on the way to work, I would listen to as much as I could. Then I'd pop it down into my phone. I'd do my day. I'd be done. Then I'd listen to the rest on the way home. That's how I did it. But that's just a suggestion to the listeners of the Tony and Other People show. Just to pop it into your phone and listen to it on the go.
On your car.
Right.
In your car.
In your car.
In your car. Not on your car.
Not on your car. I hate to correct you, young Tony, but it's in your car.
You called me young.
Young. With that beard, when I first saw you, how long your beard had grown, I said, wow.
Yeah.
Because I seen you long hair,
going.
So short hair. I seen you with every. Now you got a lot of grays.
Yeah, you've seen every variation.
Every variation of the Tony beard, yeah.
I've seen every variation of the Dana beard.
Of the Dana beard, yeah.
Oops, I shaved too much.
Oops, I shaved. I didn't shave enough.
Now I've just got the Hitler.
Now it's all. Yeah. Do the Hitler. Do the Hitler. That's right.
Jesus is a friend of mine. Wade sent me that video a little while ago.
Jesus is a friend of mine.
Zap.
Remember, I don't know about you, but I would listen to it constantly. Over and over and over again. Same with the other guy there.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, 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 ding. Yes. The guitar player. Like, I know it so well. Like, every single part of that video I know so well now.
For people listening, look up Jesus is a Friend of Mine by Sunseed. S-O-N. Sunseed.
Sunseed, yep.
You will not be disappointed.
That one, and who was that other guy? The guy with the beard that danced and did his song. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. What was it called? Do you remember?
I don't. All I can think of is the Trololo.
All those videos. I remember showing it to my stepson and saying, "Look at this," and he goes, "Yeah, I've seen it."
Yeah,
that's
great.
You're so 2 years ago. I'm like, oh, well, here, I'll put it on CD for you. He goes, nobody uses CDs anymore. I said, okay.
Here, you want me to burn you a cassette?
Here's a record. Here's a 45. Dana on 45, just like my drumming. 900 miles an hour. Shop dress man.
Only when you're excited for it.
Yeah, I was always excited.
If you played a song you hated, it would be in perfect timing.
I've calmed down a bit since then, but a lot. But yeah, definitely. It's definitely been fun, Tony.
It has.
For sure.
I love you, Dana.
Love you, man.
Thanks for listening to Tony and Other People, a podcast. Questions, comments, concerns for Tony's overall well-being? Want to be part of the show? Find us on Facebook or email us at tonyandotherpeople@gmail.com.